Once upon a time, in a beautiful city, there stood a majestic statue of a prince. The statue was made entirely of gold and adorned with precious jewels. This statue was known as the Happy Prince because he always had a smile on his face and radiated happiness. The Happy Prince had lived a privileged life when he was alive. But now he was confined to his pedestal, unable to move or do anything. From his perch, he could see the entire city and the people in it. He saw the rich and the poor, the happy and the sad. One day, a little swallow flying south for the winter got caught in a storm. His tiny wings could no longer carry him, and he fell exhausted onto the feet of the Happy Prince. The swallow lamented his fate, knowing that he would soon freeze to death if he didn't find shelter. The Happy Prince, filled with compassion, asked the swallow why he was so sad. The swallow replied that he was a latecomer. All the other birds had already flown south, and now he had no place to go. The Happy Prince felt sorry for the little bird and asked him to stay and be his messenger. The swallow agreed, and together they embarked on a journey to help the people in need. The Happy Prince, despite being immobile, had a heart full of kindness and wanted to bring joy to others. So, he asked the swallow to pluck the precious jewels adorning his statue and give them to the poor. The swallow, with his agile beak, plucked each jewel from the Happy Prince and flew it to those in need. They visited families who couldn't afford food or warm clothing, and the precious jewels provided them with relief. The people rejoiced and thanked the small bird and the Happy Prince for their generosity. Days turned into weeks, and the swallow continued to help the poor with the Happy Prince's jewels. However, as the winter grew colder, the little swallow became weaker and weaker. He couldn't fly as high or as far as before, and his feathers lost their once vibrant colors. One cold night, while flying to deliver a sapphire to a lonely playwright, the swallow realized that his end was near. He had given all he had to the Happy Prince's cause and had nothing left. With his final strength, he made his way back to the Happy Prince's side. When the swallow reached the statue, he was too weak to fly away or find shelter. And so, he nestled into the shelter between the Happy Prince's feet, seeking warmth from the cold winter wind. The Happy Prince was filled with grief for his faithful friend. But something magical happened. As the swallow rested against the statue, tears started to flow from the Happy Prince's eyes. The tears, made of love and compassion, rolled down his golden cheeks and fell onto the swallow's body. In that moment, the Happy Prince's heart cracked open, revealing a hidden treasure within. And as the swallow breathed his last breath, a golden glow enveloped his body. The soul of the little bird rose up and merged with the heart of the Happy Prince, creating a new statue adorned in gold and precious stones. From that day on, the city's people marveled at the new statue, shining brighter and more radiant than ever before. They called it the Happy Prince, as he brought joy to all who saw him. And the statue was no longer confined to his pedestal but flew freely above the city, forever helping those in need. And so, the story of the Happy Prince and the selfless swallow lived on, inspiring generations with their act of love and kindness. And even now, if you look up, you might catch a glimpse of the Happy Prince soaring through the sky, spreading happiness and love wherever he goes.